Okay, I'll follow you.
Three men tried to take their own lives after false rape allegations made by Eleanor Williams, who lied about being the
A dad
victim
who
of
says he was
an
falsely
Asian
accused of raping his ex-partner during a child custody battle.
American
feels he is a
history has
victim
many
in a
other,
broken
more tragic examples of white women accusing black men of crimes they did not commit.
YouTube, Rumble, and Discord. This is Gary Lamb bringing you relevant content on life, freedom, and the pursuit of happiness. And this is our afternoon Thursday show that we're going to be doing every Thursday with T3, also known as Talking Trash and Truths. I'm going to bring Shelly up in a minute. But before I do, I wanted to give a shout out to my boy, Winning Reality. And just to let you guys know that we have a night show set up every Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time where we are repairing history together using Thomas Sowell knowledge. I mean, the man is absolutely out of this world. He is so smart and he's done so much research over the entire course of his life. But I just want to let you guys know that tonight we will be going live on Winning Channel and my channel discussing the decline of this. And like I said, I have a clip for us. I'm going to play it in just a second. But I want you guys to go ahead and put into your calendar that every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we will be live discussing things like this. So without further ado, let's show you a prelude to tonight's discussion.
Good morning to you, sir. It's good to have you here.
Thank you very much.
What's going on here seems rather curious in the face of rising grades and elevated expectations about schools' abilities to perform and students' academic achievement.
Yes, back in 1966, there were about twice as many C's as A's given out in the public schools in the United States. By the late 70s, there were twice as many A's as C's. So you have this long period during which all sorts of test scores are going down. At this very same time, grades are going up.
Is that going on at both the elementary, secondary
Yes.
level, and college level?
At the college level.
Mm-hmm.
During the entire decade of the 1980s, the percentage of A's at Yale University never fell below 40%.
So you're saying there's a great inflation going on, and there are declining test scores.
Yes. And this is part of the deception, because if people knew exactly what was happening, I don't think the test scores could have kept going down as long as they did. But everyone was told, as they saw the wonderful grades that kids were bringing home, they were told glowing things. When I was teaching back in the 1960s, I kept hearing that this was the brightest and best generation that we'd had. And I kept saying, they don't seem to be enrolling in my courses. And it was only well into the 70s before the word came out that the data showed just the opposite of what the educators were saying.
Now, Shirley, I'm about to bring you up, but I have a quick question that you have to answer when you come up. Do smart guys like Thomas Sowell, well, do they?
Do they do it for me?
Do they do it for you? I mean, let's look at the
face
facts.
it. I mean, brains, they stand the test of time. Brawn, that comes and goes. Looks are never permanent, but brains, you can pretty much count on that, barring some huge accident. And I'd rather have somebody that I can talk to.
Thomas is a big thing in our community.
He is. He's an amazing man. He's got theories and opinions that they do go against the grain for some. I happen to think they're worthwhile. I find a lot of not solace, but I find a lot of comfort in them, and that they make me sit back and go, maybe I'm not looking at it right. Maybe I looked at it wrong my whole life. So let me just go back with fresh eyes and look and see. And then I'll agree with some of what he says, and then I'll disagree and go, no, I need a little bit more convincing. Like, he's somebody I would love to have a conversation with.
Oh God, Winning and myself are doing our very best to see if we can get him up so we can pick his brain before he decides to croak. But let's go ahead and because let's face it, he's like 99 years old. He's up there. But let's go ahead and introduce not introduce our chat, but to welcome the chat to the live show at 12 noon. Now I put the live show 1 hour late for Eastern Standard Time. Unfortunately, I meant to hit the Eastern Standard Time, but me being an hour earlier now, and I'm not used to it, right? So I'm still on, Eastern Standard Time.
East Coast time, yep.
Right, I do everything on East Coast time, but it's still very difficult because when I see it, it says 7 as opposed to 8 or 11 as opposed to 12. So when I put 12, I'm like, oh crap, that means 11 my time. So it's very, very difficult. But I meant to do it at 11 to catch the those who are on the Eastern Standard Time zone, and they're going to be getting off of work for lunch. And then when we're around about wrapping it up, then the Central Standard gets it, and then the rewatch on the West Coast. But what up, Susan? What up, Jake? Jacob? What's going on? Hood Conservative. Far Q, what's going on? We got Rabbit in the house as well. What's up?
My whole crew.
We have talking truth and trash and truth in there, but we have the entire crew over here. We got Hood Conservative for my end. Let's get into the meat and potatoes of it. Now, like I said, we are going to be doing this live with Winning Reality later on tonight, discussing the decline of the educational system, how they're using grade inflation to have you think that your children are doing way better than they actually are. And since Shelly is a teacher, I wanted to get her 2 cents on that before we got into the meat and potatoes of this video. So as a school teacher, you've seen and witnessed that this is the type of thing that has been going on in your own experiences. Am I correct?
Oh yeah. The teachers have the habit of setting like their SGOs lower than normal, so that there's growth shown over the year.
What's
because
SGO?
You have to show an SGO is the standard growth for a child. Like, it's their standard progression through the year. So if you get a child in who, say, ranks, I don't know how other schools did it. We did it a certain way that I can't really disclose because I used to work there. But if you put them as low, say they have I'm just going to make it up. Say they have a 20%, learning knowledge base at this time. When you test them over the year, by the end of the year, they have to have periodic growth spurts in their academic knowledge, in their, computation, comprehension, visualization, all their different areas. So what you want is a certain percentage of growth for every student. You're going to have kids who don't have any growth, and just maintaining, the status quo for them that's the goal. But usually those are kids with IEPs and stuff like that. They're usually representative of kids who can only do 60 to 80% of what your average child can do. That's not compared to like the high functioning kids in the class. So it has to go across the board. And there are certain percentages that have to go up for each group.
Now,
That's
what
why
is the
you
difference between a
shoot for
high?
classes that are equal in those groups. Like you have a third, and a third.
Say it again.
You shoot to have classes that are equally represented in those groups, like a third low, a third middle, and a third high.
And why is that? Ratio?
You want to have this it's called inclusion. Sometimes it's general ed, but for us it was always inclusion because you had the very low and you had the high. So the premise is that the lower kids learn from watching the kids who are higher than them in achievement and ability, so they're able to mimic them, and eventually it becomes part of what they do. They incorporate it into their learning processes. And you want the higher kids to have lower kids so that they're not moving beyond socially or whatever, and they're coming back and saying, okay, there are these low kids, maybe I can teach them. It gives them a bigger sense of purpose for going to school. So everybody's helping everybody else, and they both learn from the middle group. The most important group is actually the middle group. It's the
Why is that?
because they can relate to both sides. They have something to offer to both sides. Like low, usually only, you can only go up. If you go back, you have a problem. High, their goal is to go higher. They don't want to go lower. So lose face or lose any footing, you have the kids in the middle who even everything out. That's your balance. If without a balance, you're going to tip one way or another, and your numbers are going to be skewed, and your kids aren't going to benefit. It gets a lot harder to differentiate your lessons too, because if you have all three groups, you can make your lessons so that it applies to all three groups. You're not losing the interest of the ones that do understand more, and you're not confusing the ones who understand less. You're right in the middle. So both points are doable. You get it. It's like equidistant. They can each reach that without feeling bad or like fearing failure or whatever.
So in other words, we're focusing on their how they feel about it as opposed to how they actually perform.
You have to remember, I deal with early childhood education. So feeling is a lot of that, because if you don't build up their confidence and they're like, you don't promote this enjoyment of learning, they're not going to want to go to school when it gets harder.
Right.
They're not going to want to sit down and write a composition. But if you can incorporate that into every day, like it's not a big thing, and it just becomes part of their day, and it's not, there's no pressure on there, they are more likely to perform at their peak ability. Because they're not dealing with anxiety. They're already dealing with, I stayed up too late, I didn't have a great breakfast, my mom and dad were fighting. They're dealing with all this stuff at home, and when they get to school, they're a bundle of nerves. So what you want is a calm environment where they feel they can do something productive and gain that self-esteem that they're not getting in other areas. And it makes them want to be there, because that's a good feeling. I want to go to school. School makes me feel better. I had a lot of kids like that. School was their haven. And then there was, the other ones that were like, no, I feel like a failure. Nobody cares. Nobody's listening, because that's what they learned early on. They got pushed to the side. So it was just too much for them to catch up on.
What up, Daisy girl?
Hi, Daisy. But yeah, it seems impossible when they're that far behind. Yeah. And it's really easy to fall that far behind, because they slip through the cracks, or administration tells you, I can't let you give this kid this grade, but that's the grade he earned. It doesn't matter. It's not a good look for the school. It's not a good look. How about we teach them better?
Well, exactly. Who cares how you look? Right. Obviously, what you're doing is not working for this particular child, which means you're doing a terrible job with this child. Like, I don't give a rip how you feel. Like, it sounds more of a, well, we need to get our government funding, so we can't slip between these cracks, and we can't sleep through this parameter. We can't, touch this, because it's almost like that with everywhere we go. Right. We can even see that happening in YouTube. Right. We have, clear rights to use certain material, but because of certain bots and whatever, they'll come after the creators and say, hey, yo, you're wrong, when it's like, no, Constitution says that I'm right. Well, you're going to have to fight us. Well, I don't have money to fight you, so I might as well just accept it. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it gets to a point where just like the checks and balances are doing us more of a disservice than is actually helping us. What do you think?
Well, like he said about inflating the grades. Now, you and I discussed this the other night. When they say inflating the grades, they mean all of them. So the lower kids get raised up. They usually, this is a progressive thing. Again, this helps their SGO because if you start them low, if you lowball their, like abilities, as you go, as you raise and inflate these grades, the SGO goes up. So it looks like they have made this huge amount of progress, but they haven't. It's fudged in the numbers. So if you're inflating it, what an A means in May, it didn't mean that last May. It didn't mean that in September when they created their SGOs. They pump everything up so that the low ones that are going to stay low, they maintain their IEPs, their 504s, they get their therapies, you get the funding for the special needs groups. Then if you have like the middle kids are always going to stay in the middle. They might be low, high, they might be high, low, but they're going to stay in that range. Mm-hmm. They're never going to be on one end of the extreme or the other. When you get to the high kids, if you pump up their grades, now you have all these super students. And what do you do with super students? You create gifted and talented programs.
Oh, I
gifted
remember
and
those
talented programs.
They walked
They're
around
funded
like
by everybody.
Yeah, they felt like they was the top shit. Like,
God,
I hated them people. They would stay stuck. Like,
and what is the government push?
You. I'm like, how? How are you smarter than me? You're just
They're not at all. But they get more
jobs. What do you mean? I have no time to study.
Yeah. They get more spotlight than you do.
Right.
Because they get more funding. Because STEM is a huge thing in this country right now. Who do they push for STEM? They push the gifted and talented. They supply STEM classes across the board, but they take those gifted and talented and they take them to, seminars, and they take them to tournaments, and they take them to fairs and whatever. Like, they make a big deal because that's where they get their publicity and that's where they get the funding. They get federal funding, they get state funding, they get private funding. They get parents who work for these companies who are like, you know what, we're going to, we want to do this program in your school, so we're going to give it to you for free for the next 5 years. Everybody wins, but they have to inflate the numbers to make that demographic because they don't stick out otherwise, because otherwise they're just high achieving kids. But if now you're pumping up like an A into an A+, now you have all these kids who are just, oh my God, they're all getting hundreds. They're all geniuses. Let's put them in this program and call them special.
And then you put them against Chinese kids and they look like freaking roaches. Yep. Well, listen, we're going to save the rest of that conversation for tonight. Shout out to Winning Reality. He is in his house promoting tonight's show. And just to let you guys know, we will be live at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I actually got that time frame right because I'm not the one that did it. Winning is the one that set that one up. So he got it right and I got mine wrong, but it is what it is. But after the live, this will redirect you to that live so you can set your reminder and so you can drop a like, drop a comment, all that jazz, because all that stuff works with the algorithm. Now let's get into the meat and potatoes of the video. Free passes for false accusers. Now this was your topic that you wanted to talk about, so I'm just going to sit along for the ride. I got the articles if you want me to pull them up. If you just want to just straight fire shoot out and just go off the top. I
think we should just talk it out. Like if you have a question or because the articles are good, but they're just representative of a grander problem.
Right.
I mean, it's across the board.
Really, exactly. They're not really important. It's because this is happening forever. And it's just, it's got to a point where it's just like, it's flat out nonsense that is happening the way it is. And I know a lot of men are getting sick and tired of it. I know a lot of men have been sick and tired of it. And it's just
women are sick and tired of it too, because then the ones who actually do have issues, everybody looks at them like, oh, you're just another one. Is like, I don't understand the whole believe all women thing. Because if you're going to believe all women, you got to believe all men, because they're all human and they all lie. They all lie at some point. It might not be about that thing in particular, but you can't just say, oh, because they're women, they're telling you the truth. Oh, no. Like, I don't ascribe to that camp at all.
Well,
I've known way too many women who twist the story to their benefit.
Listen, I am a candidate. I am not just a club member. I am a card holding uh superior officer, if you will, because I've
Mhm.
lost a couple of jobs because a woman lied on me. So it's like,
Mhm.
it's like once you see it happen the first time, you give it a pass, like, all right, so that was obvious a fluke. But then it happens again and again, and you're like, you know what? This is just something that happens, is norm now. Because and let's be honest, when you go to any interview, like I've been to plenty, shut up, shut your mouth, shut your mouth. I've been to plenty of jobs. I've had plenty of jobs, so shut your mouth, shut your mouth. I'm looking for a better way of life. Okay, eat me. So I've been to a lot of jobs, and every single time in every time in orientation, we had to watch that sickening video on all men are creeps. Throw
The
rocks
sexual
at him video.
harassment,
The
the sexual
sexual
harassment
harassment video,
video.
and it's like,
I always
I've
joke
been
that I'm the
sexually
reason that we have to watch that video. Mhm.
huh?
I joke with
Yes,
the guys that I work with. I'm the reason we have to watch that video. Just so you know, it's not about you. Like, relax.
it's
It's
not
all
you.
me.
Well, I was just going to say that because a lot of the women
Not
that
you.
I've
It's me.
experienced.
Like, I'll admit to that one.
So you're the abuser in that
It was never sexual harassment. It was when you joked around and said like off color joke at work.
Mhm.
It was an off color joke at work. You were just hanging with your coworkers. Now
Mm.
it takes on all these different connotations and intentions, and you're like, bro, it was a joke. Like, calm down. Like, it was not that big a deal. And they'll take it outside the job. Like,
Huh.
if you do that outside the job, they'll bring it in and be like, well, we were out and I heard her say, blah, 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 blah. And
Right.
was I on the property at being paid at the time when I said it? Then shut up.
Mhm.
But it doesn't matter. It translates right over. They're like, oh,
Right.
well, you have to be like this all the time. No, like, stop. They take it too far. They make it so dramatic and they embellish it and they just make it into this monster thing when it never was. And why? Because it gets them attention, it furthers their agenda, and it makes them, like feel like, oh, we're winning against the men. Who's winning against the men? Feminism sucks.
Yeah.
All of this stand behind every woman, believe every woman. It's to me, it's the silliest thing that they've ever put out there and the most destructive.
Yeah.
Because now, how can you ever find somebody that you could be yourself around when you're constantly worried that if things go wrong, they could switch shit around on you and be like, oh, they did this, they did that. It don't have to be true.
Right.
It happens all the time. That's the key tool in a narcissist's bag, is to turn the story around and make you the predator and they're the victim.
Yeah.
And it's horrible. I mean, you've seen like Amber Turd. That whole thing opened my eyes so much because I knew it happened, but I didn't realize it happened on such a grand and intricate scale. I mean,
Oh, we
she had
knew.
people backing her up like she was
Dude.
Bible.
Listen, and this is the thing that a lot of women don't understand, is that they silence us right off the rip. We don't have a
Oh,
voice at all. We get silenced immediately. You immediately get pulled out of your job, right?
Mhm.
You have no, and I'm telling you, because I've had this experience. You immediately are communicated from the entire environment, right? You're not allowed to talk to anybody, even though you're under investigation. Now listen to this, because they do their own in-house investigation. You're under investigation, but you're not allowed to talk to your accuser. You're not allowed to talk to any of the witnesses. You're not allowed to talk to anybody. They ask you a bunch of questions that are just they're so broad, right? They're so broad, and you're like, I don't know what I now I'm perjuring myself because I don't know what I'm being accused of.
That's why
But
you
I
say
need to
nothing.
keep my job because I need to take care of my wife, my family. So I'm like, look, all I can tell you is this. This is what I know. And this is what they say. They say the best thing you can do is be honest. I'm like, well, the best thing you can do is tell me what I'm being honest to.
No.
You know what I mean? And I beat the
Best
charge.
thing you do is just stay shut and let it unfold.
Listen,
Try to get ahead of it.
Charge, but the thing is that at the end of the day, we're talking about 8 months of salary lost. 8 months. I lost 8 months of my salary because of this person. Right. So it's like, and then when I get back, there was nothing done to her. Absolutely nothing. It was
And I
ruled
bet
in
you
favor
got
that
the
she was
side eye from
lying,
everybody, right?
and everybody looked at me differently after that.
Because you were
And it
still
was nothing I could do to
suspicious.
change it.
Mm-hmm.
So anything I said at that particular point, from that point on, was scrutinized as, oh, he's a predator. He's this, he's that, you know. So obviously I couldn't stay there for too much longer. I got out of that position. But the point is
Mm-hmm.
that the damage was done. Now I don't trust any woman. I don't want to work with any woman. I don't give a shit. I don't want to work with any woman. We've had the live with Caitlyn and Winning. I
Mm-hmm.
don't want to deal with women because of that incident right then and there. It's like
Mm-hmm.
I don't trust them because they can fabricate the lie. And then here's what's really jacked up. She wanted to talk to me after the fact.
Of course you did.
The hell you
Gotta
want to
take
talk
the
to me
temperature.
for?
Gotta take the temperature. Find out where you're at. Find if she's gonna face any backlash personally.
Oh, no. You're not going to face any backlash. I don't want nothing to do with you. Let God handle you.
That's
I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to
theory.
be
That's
seen
how I
in the
do.
next. I don't want to be seen in the same room with you. I want
Mm-hmm.
out. I don't want nothing to do with you. She walks in, I walk right out because she was still working there, but that's not the point. The point is that I avoid you like the plague. I lost the house that I was working at, right? Because now I'm not allowed to go back there because she was the manager.
Of course she was. Promotion time.
I'm like, come the freaking on. No, she was promoted before this incident happened. Right.
And she
So she had favoritism from jump because the person that should have gotten that management position, they looked over her, they looked past her and gave it to the other girl.
Did the other girl have a wrong thing? Was she not willing to go with the agenda?
She would not go with the agenda. That woman would not go with the agenda. Therefore, she wasn't a part of the crew.
She's not a team player.
And I told her from jump, I said, you're not going to get that job. As soon as I saw that woman walked in, I said, why would they bring it was a big thing. It was like, why would they bring a person to show a house to a regular worker? Did they show you the house? And she was like, no. I said, they didn't show me the house. I think that's the new manager. Because why would you walk them around and meet the clients and stuff? Why? That don't make any sense. Man, she was broke. The woman that didn't get the job, she was heartbroken over that. I was like, hey, politics. And what you can do? There's nothing you can do about it. It's politics. They got favoritism, you don't. You know, and she wound up still having to do this girl's work because she didn't know anything. It's insane.
Insult to injury.
Add insult to injury. I got to do your work.
Yeah, but when did it become that the court of public opinion got to decide everybody's guilt over the law of the land?
Good question. I don't know.
When did that flip happen? The media obviously helped it because they perpetuate the lies going on and on and on. They help grow the narrative. They add to the narrative. They're not even like trying to report news or like truth. These are not journalists. They're not reporters. All they are, they're just hosts. They're hosts reading a script and getting clicks and rank and whatever. That's what they're there for. At this point, they're just actors. That's all they are. They're a mouthpiece.
There's
no more investigative journalism. They don't do that. They just make shit up as they go along. And if you call them on it, they're like, oh, well, you're a bigot. Or, oh, you're this phobic. You're that phobic. Really? Did you look any of those words up? Because I don't think you're using them correctly. Like, that's not the definition. They love calling people bigots. That's the people they're calling bigots are, in fact, not bigots. They're the bigots. And it's like, look it up. Look it up. And they get very upset when you call them on facts. I like facts over
they can't
fuckery.
dispute them. They can't dispute facts, and they hate that. You know, well, why you got to bring real stuff into this conversation? It's really the la land.
And then it turns personal.
Yeah, now it's personal, and then you want to. No, I ain't got time for all that. Who wants to work with? Who wants to deal with that? But at the same time, if you don't come
you
at
need a job. At the same time, you need a job.
Right.
So how do you manage both?
Well,
how do you navigate?
That's the way I can do it. I mean, you know, a lot of people don't really look at it that way. They feel the way they feel. And I get that, you know what I'm saying? Some people feel that way, but I got a big ass mouth. It's real hard for me to shut up. When I see injustice, I can't shut up. I have to say something. It's like, that's why I'm going heavy on Rumble now. I'm going heavy on Rumble because I'm sick and tired of I'm tired of YouTube telling me what I can't say. I'm tired of it. I am so sick of it. It's like, if I want to talk about Israel, I gotta be very careful in what I say. I can't use the word terrorism. Like, who gets the hell out of here? I don't want to hear that shit. That's exactly what's going on over there. But I can't talk about it, and it's because of this fake horse crap that we're talking about right now. These people who got control over everything. Shout out to Inya Mears. Is that how you say it?
Inya Mears. Hi, honey.
I might be
Thank you
able
so
to
much for
stay
the
and
super
chat
chat.
long. I might not be able to stay and chat long, but wanted to come give my love. Thank you.
Oh, that's very much appreciated.
Much.
Thank you. And hello, Lady Lamb. How are you? I don't think I missed anybody else. I might have. There's your girl. There's your girl. You happy?
Girl. That's my baby.
Hi, Thomas.
Also, do not hesitate to sign up or go to the Discord where we're going to have all our content right there, considering the fact that we feel it's a little bit like, okay, so Discord can get a little rowdy. Let's be honest. Okay.
It can.
Discord can get a little bit rowdy, and we have moderators over there that can manage that kind of stuff. Thank the Lord. We have winning reality. I haven't made you a mod yet, but I'm gonna plan on making you a mod as well. But we have winning reality over there. We have King Refuse. We have Danielle. They're all doing their great job. They're keeping us up to speed to what's going on in the world. Shout out to the rewatch crew. For those who do watch this after the actual live, this will be up for you. I think I'm going to keep it up on YouTube depending on how I feel, but it's definitely going to be on Rumble for those.
I mean, there's nothing too touchy on this right now. I mean, you're
right. You're right. I should be able to keep it up. Yeah, it's not a big deal. It's just YouTube be on some BS with a lot of stuff. So, but yeah,
I talk about much spicier stuff on mine, and they don't really bother me. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see. But so it will definitely be up. But yeah, let's get back to the kind of conversation at hand. So, what do you think we can do as citizens here? How can we clean this up? Because we can't just let them, as you can see, the world is getting more woman. When you look on YouTube, I mean, when you look everywhere, actually, TV, television, all you see.
I wouldn't know. Most of my demographic is male.
Most of your demographic is male?
Yeah, my audience is mostly male. The women talk, but the men are all there.
Because men don't really, they
all my lurkers are all men.
Yeah. Same thing. Same here. I got tons of lurkers, I'm saying? Like, how the hell we only got 10 people in the freaking chat, and then turn around, I got 800 freaking watchers. I'm like, huh? That don't make sense. But
that's why you throw out the occasional random gift membership, and they're like, oh crap, they know I'm here now. You're like, I see you.
I see you.
I have Rabbit. Rabbit always calls out the lurkers. She's like, we know you're there. Just come say hi. We don't bite. Well, Shelly does.
Right.
We got that covered.
No damn, man. Last time I tried that shit and you smacked me in my face, I learned real quick not to bite no man.
Okay, that sounds
it was
like
my father. Stop. It was my dad. Okay,
I wasn't thinking anything weird. It's just violent. But
yeah. Back to the conversation. We got 8 people in Rumble watching and looking and listening. Shout out to every one of you. Appreciate you for supporting us over here at the Gary Lamb Network. We have to figure out what we can do to clean this up, because we notice that everything that men do, right? We'll run to some place, right? For example, a lot of men decided they was going to go to Twitch, right? They went to Twitch, and it was mostly men there. Then men build it up, and next thing you know, here come the women. Oh, it's clean and nice over here. They got money over here. Well, we don't like these rules, and we don't like these rules, and we don't like these rules. And it's like, wait a minute, hold up. This is not your house. But instead of what can men do to stop that nonsense? Like, no, you're not taking over the Boy Scouts. No, you're not taking over YouTube. No, you're not taking over Twitch. No, you're not taking over TikTok. No, you're not taking over Discord. You're not taking over. How can we stop these hyenas from taking over our stuff?
Thanks for coming by, Suzanne. Suzanne has to leave. Her phone is dying. She can't stay. Okay, so now hear me out. I think that part of the problem is that guys don't say things as they happen. You have a tendency to try to, keep keep it calm. Just maybe this will pass. Things build up. You hold it back. You keep your mouth shut when the thing happens because you're like, no, because I'm going to look bad. I'm going to say the wrong thing, whatever. And while all that is true, all you have is like all this rage and resentment building inside you. Yeah. You're going to explode at some point. And then when you explode, this works for their agenda because now you look crazy. You're like, oh, he didn't say anything all this time, and now he's being all dramatic. Now he's being all hurt about it. Where was he all this time? They're going to twist it to use it against you. So whether you say something or you don't say something, it's going to get used against you. You have to choose which one suits you better. Is it better to say
I choose to be loud because at least I have a voice at that point. I don't get knocked out silently. I'd rather be loud.
You'd rather be loud at once, or you'd rather be effective the entire time?
I'd rather be loud and effective the entire time. Like if you're gonna knock me out no matter what, I might as well train to knock you out, right? Like I'm not for nothing, but I am a fighter. I know it doesn't seem that way, but I am. You know what I'm saying? I'm a big fighter.
Not for nothing. I get it.
Yeah. I choose my
But you got to be a steamroller, Gary. Like that's what you guys have to do. You just have to keep trudging along. Almost like one of those Zambonis at the hockey rink. It's always going. It's always fixing and leveling and doing everything because the changes are always happening in the ice, right? Different grooves, different, like some parts will melt. You got to go over it. What it's doing is it's keeping it functioning and it's keeping it going. It's tedious. It's draining. It takes a lot of time, but you're not in some mad dash to try to fix it last minute.
Right.
So you're able to take what comes because you're like, I see you coming. I'll get to you. I'm getting there. Let me deal with this first. You're not jumping over problems to get to another problem. You're dealing with them as they come. It's when they all get to like mount on top of one another that they have a case because it looks like there's so many problems and they're all yours and they're all coming down at once. And it's overload. It's overwhelming. Oh my God, 6 accusers over 40 freaking years of life. For what? Do you have any kind of proof? Like, where were you when the thing happened? Like, you should have talked about it then. Why are you talking about it now? Because there's safety in numbers? No. And that's what they're doing. They're creating like this pack mentality. Leave all women. This way they all stand up for one another. The opposite of that is if the men have women counterparts who say no, because we can say things y'all can't. So it's like, you know what?
Well, it's not that we can't say it. It's just that it wouldn't be heard, nor and it would be scrutinized to an.
It would be used against you. Every shield you put up would be used as a sword through you.
Yeah.
If you said it. But if you have somebody else saying it, that's a third party. They're not unbiased, but they're not as biased as you are. Now you're bringing in another person who says, no, I'll own it. I'm going to say this about this, and this is wrong. But you need those people to stand next to you. You have like the way Johnny did it. Johnny had all these people on his side. Nobody knew they were on his side. He kept that shit quiet. But when they started coming out, it was like, oh my God. All these people are still, where were all these people? It wasn't their time, but he was building his side.
Yeah,
he was building his case. Yeah. And he couldn't let that out because she would have harped on that and they would have attacked them and, taken away credibility or whatever by any means necessary. That's why you got to build your own little army, to be frank about it. You have to protect yourself in your own little group and you just got to make sure your group isn't going to turn on you. Because there's always toxic people. There's opportunistic people. But I think the best way is to just not stand on your own and not stand with just other men as your back. You have to have everybody.
Right.
Because women will only, they'll respond to other women. They're like, what do you mean you side with him? And the shift focuses, the mask falls a little bit. Because now they're like, I didn't expect somebody to stand up for him. I didn't expect another woman. How dare you? They try to shame them. You could try to shame them all they want. If somebody's in the right, they're going to stand up for what's right. That's just my take on it. Like, they have to. And I know I have this very, naive way of thinking, I guess, that people will stand up for what's right. But I have to believe that, or else what am I doing?
What's the point? Like, okay, if I
Yeah.
don't believe that people will come out and stand up to defend the innocent, if I
Mhm.
don't believe that, then God help you for who I become.
Yep.
Because y'all don't really realize that the ones who need Jesus are the most
Mhm.
dangerous motherfuckers on the planet.
Yep. Sure
We
are.
need Jesus to keep us from going after you. Wrath, when the Bible says wrath is his, that's a protection for you. As a person that did me wrong, oh my God, that's a protection. You
Mhm.
don't get it. Like, I mean, when you look around, with all the men that have been falsely accused, and all of a sudden they find Jesus.
Mhm.
Everything I pray, I found God in jail, and I don't
Mhm.
blame her, and I understand. Like, you have to wrap your head around Jesus if you're
Mhm.
going to win. If you're going to get out of there, you have to accept some type of savior, some type of something, because the rage that's inside of you, it fuels you for the next day. Like,
Mhm.
I can have cancer. And Father God, I don't believe, this is just a whatever. I can have cancer.
He's kidding, God. Don't give him that.
You false accuse me and send me to jail. When I come out, I'll be 3 times as big. I will look as healthy as an ox. I will kick cancer's ass just to get to you.
Yep.
Just to
Your
get to
goal
you.
has shifted. Yes.
Like I am
Mhm.
determined to get to you. You can't kill a man like that. And like what I don't know how to say your name, brother. Forgive me for telling your name, but what he said is the thing about men, when we're done, we're done. There is no going back, and a rapidly increasing amount of young men are checking out of dating and society overall. Good luck. See, this right here is dangerous to the women that had nothing to do with this.
Mhm.
Nothing, because they now you have to look at the innocent bystanders on our side and look at the
Mhm.
equivalent on their side. Like, your daughters are going to be stuck with this
Yep.
nonsense.
But see,
You know what I'm
that's why
saying?
if you can get them to be allies that you could believe in, then that won't happen. That divide won't happen. And you take away from the female voices that are yelling out false accusations, because you have equally powerful women on the other side saying, no, 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 no. Like, no, no, no. You can't just come out of your face with this and, come with this narrative. We don't believe you just because we're women. No, we believe you because, you provided evidence. We're not going to believe you just because you have a uterus or because you claim to be a woman, because apparently that definition is up for debate. So
Right.
they're just standing there going, no, I need you on my side. You need to be like, I need you on my side. If you really believe that false accusers have to be held accountable for the things they say, then you need to come over here and say that, because it's getting lost on that other side. You're a whisper over there. You'd be a roar over here. And we're going to hold you up and let you roar, because
Right.
you're going to speak for us.
Right.
You can say the things we can't say. Everybody talks about division and I don't trust women and I don't trust men. But the thing is, if you band together and you're coming from the same place with the same goals, you're so much more powerful than if you're suspicious all the time. You just have to take the time to cultivate those relationships, and be very discerning about them. You can't be like, oh, well, we agreed on 2 things, but we didn't agree on these 12 things. No, no, no. Like, you have to have like the majority, on your side. You could have like 1 or 2 things where you don't see eye to eye, depending on what they are. But on these core things, anything that links back to this type of situation, you need to be one front, a united front.
Right.
And I don't think we do that. I think we're so into, these feminine, the labels kill me. You know how I feel about generalizations. You make them all the time. And I'm like, not everybody is like that, but you're making it like they are. So you're losing
Yes, and
allies by painting people who
here's
are
the issue.
innocent
Wait
with
a
that
minute.
brush.
Hold on, and here's the issue. I have to do that, Tom Shirley, because that's the only way I can protect people. See, until y'all clean up y'all mess, I cannot let them go into alligator land. All right. So I get you don't like the generalization. Clean up your shit, and they will stop. I mean, I'm not going
Here's
to
the
stop
thing. They're not going to
generalizing.
clean up because it works in their favor. You have to think of a different way to figure out who the good and the bad are.
No,
How
I
to
don't.
them
No,
out.
I don't. I have to
You
protect
do.
myself and put.
You're
No, I have
cutting
to.
out
Wait a
half
minute.
your
Wait a minute. Wait a
dates.
minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I have tried that, and I got shafted for it. I'm not about to take another risk. That's not happening. So I'm shutting off. I mean, it's easy to say that until you get burned. You know what I'm saying? Like
Oh,
when
I've
you
been
get
burned
burned,
many times, and
and
not
and
this
well,
area.
let's use that for example. Look at how
Mhm.
hard it is for you to allow a man into your space. Look how hard it is for you to do that.
It is. It's a daily battle.
Right. So
But I have people in my corner, male and female, who point out, no, but you're not seeing this. You're thinking this. That's not how we saw it. We saw it as this. You're interpreting this. That's not what, was said. That's the way you perceived it because you got that trauma filter. We don't have that trauma filter. So let me tell you what we got out of that. I need that kind of feedback. I need to have somebody tell me, you saw it as ABC, but really it was CBA, and you weren't looking at it straight on. You were looking at it through your convoluted, all your little walls and, hiccups and your tests for people and everything. So like my test results are going to be different than somebody else's. I need to know what they saw, not just what I see, because I know I'm looking at it screwed up.
Dalvanius. He just showed me how to say his name. Dalvanius.
Very nice.
Dalvanius. Dalvanius. So either you work out a lot and got veins flying through your muscle, or you're talking about one major vein, and I don't want to talk about that at all. But you're right. You're right, Shelly. You're absolutely right. And honestly, I don't care.
Of course I am.
I don't care. When it comes down to protecting my own, I don't care.
You're so stubborn.
Like it's not about stubborn. It's absolute. See, I
only a Sith deals in absolutes, not for nothing. Huh? Only a Sith deals in absolutes. If you deal in absolutes, you're going to lose out on so much of life.
And I'm perfectly fine with that. See, the thing, listen, because of what I lost out on in my life, I'm not willing to risk another minute. We got people that have been thrown in jail for years because of a mistake. You hear what I'm saying? Like, I'm not taking that.
And I had rapists walk free like it was nothing because they looked at me and said, well, you had a regret. Too bad. What? Like, okay. So shut me right the fuck down. It was like, no. You regretted it? It doesn't matter. The black eye doesn't matter. Bruised ribs, that doesn't matter. You obviously wanted it. He walks free. Why? Because his freaking uncle is on the goddamn police force. So it's like, oh, sure. Why not? What recourse did I have? Am I going to hate all men? I can't.
No, it's not about hating all men. It's about avoiding
them. I don't want to avoid them. I like men.
Well, I like women, but I don't trust them.
I don't trust them either, but I'm not going to spend my whole life alone. I tried that. It didn't work out.
Mm-hmm.
Well, luckily for me, it didn't suit my kids.
I don't have to look for anybody else.
Yes, but how much of this bleeds into how you see even the women in your life? If and when, like, you have boys, correct?
Yes.
So if and when you were to ever have a daughter, say she starts dating, if she steps wrong, are you going to automatically, blame her for whatever?
I mean, no.
Going to bleed into that?
No,
I doubt it.
I'm a part of it, though. The difference is that I'm a part of it.
You're going to wait that long? You're going to be unprepared. You're going to be unprepared for all the stuff that she's going to go through because you've been looking through tunnel vision at this topic for like so long. And I get it. You're insulated by what could happen. And so like you build your walls around you to keep you and yours safe. I get that. And I applaud it. I do it myself. But like I'm saying, at some point you have to be willing to take a peek out the window and go, has the weather changed out here? No. All right.
Well, I get where you're coming from, but I'm not willing to take that risk on my life. I'm sorry. I mean, it's just, and that's a lot of men. I am telling you what the typical man feels like. It's like,
okay. Because what about when they feel that way toward your daughter and break her heart because they're not willing to trust her because women?
Oh, well, tough. I mean, look, listen.
You say that now.
listen, yeah, you're right. I say that now because I don't have a daughter. But I will also understand, and I will tell my daughter, like, you got to understand the reason why he doesn't want to marry you because he's terrified, and he has a right to be. Listen, me and my wife, before we got together, and we haven't disclosed this part of the relationship, but when we first got together, she was like, she want to get married. I said, good luck with that. I'm not interested in getting married. I don't want it. I don't want no parts of it because of this, that, and the third. And I explained to her what I'm going to need for me to trust her to get married. She did those things. It took her 5 years to do it, but she did those things. You know, because I was terrified of marriage because of how women treat men in marriage. That's a very unfortunate a way to be. I get it, but you got to protect your life, man. You can't be playing around with these women. They will destroy your life in a nanosecond and not even think twice about it. This is like, it's like you got a lot of men that are very, very afraid. Listen, we have a freaking show called False Accusers because of so many false accusations that's going around. And you're saying, yeah, but you still got to take a chance. Fuck that shit. I'm not taking a chance on my life. No, I only get one. And it's not like I get a do-over as a man. You're fucked.
But see, by not creating that, like by not partaking in that, you're leaving just the accusers out there talking. So they become the truth.
No, I disagree.
They do.
No, wait a minute. I think people like you who feel that there is a way to fix this to go out there and do your due diligence. You're not going to, don't expect a man who was burnt to come out and try to campaign. He doesn't want no parts of this. None.
No, and I don't think he should, but he should be at least united with the forces that are leading the charge.
Well, I think you have a lot of people that are. I mean, you have Crowder. You have a lot of people that's funding him. You got a lot of people that's got Branson's back. You got a lot of people that's still funding, supporting Tim Pool and so on and so forth. So there are people out there that's willing to donate to the cause, but they're not willing to put themselves out there and put themselves at risk. I mean, my God, Winning Reality refuses to even show his face because of what can happen to him. And it's got nothing to do with women. You know what I'm saying? Like men can be destroyed in this country and nobody gives a shit. You know what I'm saying? You can't even say Andrew Tate name on YouTube anymore. You know what I'm saying? Like, here's a guy
that's the most hate I ever got was that video. I did a video on him. That was the most hate I ever got ever.
Right.
Lord.
And what is the man doing but telling you exactly like it is? Okay, he's talking about stuff that is like it is, and because he lives in Romania, he has no freaking laws here, so he's not protected here. So YouTube would just get rid of him, you know. But the thing is like this is what happens to men. But then you look at Amber Heard, where it's clear this broad was full of shit, and she still got a job. She still got a job. So it's like, listen, men at this point is saying enough is enough. Enough is enough. It's
also the delivery though with people like Andrew Tate, because he's talking to men. No. Delivery. No, let me get it out. He's talking to men in a way that men will receive the message he's putting out. Women are going to take that a different way.
Not my
but
problem.
They're also listening, and they get to twist that. It's not your problem. It's the problem. That's the thing. The women hear it and they're like, "Oh, it's misogynist." He's not talking to you. Like, we talk to each other different than we talk to our men. We talk to each other way different. We talk to you guys like, oh yeah, whatever. We'll do what we have to do to get through that conversation as advanced as we can with like an upper hand or at least a win somewhere. When we talk to one another, we could be so cutthroat. We would say shit to each other that we would never allow you guys to say to us. Ever. Like ever. And it's fine because it's us talking to us. It's more relatable. I guess we forgive each other.
Though. See,
no, it's not fine
because of
but it happens. We got to deal with that.
It's like us saying the N-word, right? I can say it, but you can't say it, right? It's the same bullshit.
We had this conversation last night, like in private, and T-Rex was like, "Well, why can't you say it, Shelly?" I said, "Are you crazy?" I was like, "I can't say that." He was like, "Sure you can. You would say it." I was like, in a joke, possibly in private with Gary, but like on air, no, they'd crucify me. There's no
But
way. Even if I don't mean it.
Even then, it wouldn't get a laugh from me. I would say,
No,
why
and
did you say that?
it wouldn't land right. Yeah,
Yeah,
it wouldn't.
yeah. Like, why did you say that? Like, it's like, so
Mhm.
I get the conversation, the side conversation that women have with one another that we as men can't get away with. I get that, but
Mhm.
women, they freaking bogart their way into men's spaces and expect us to change for them, and we're stopping that now. Like, I'm not doing
You
that
realize
anymore.
why, right?
If a woman, no, I don't. But let me finish this point real quick.
God, and then I'll
There
tell
was
you.
if there's women who get very offended with how I talk, and I don't care anymore. All right, I don't come to me with this feminism bullshit. Don't
Mhm.
come at me with this fucking, well, men did it first. Fuck you. No, they didn't. You guys shut the legs and said or else. That's the only reason why you got a fucking vote. Period. You didn't fight for it. You didn't die for it. You didn't bleed for it. Start with the horse shit. You closed your legs. That's how you got the vote. So start with the bullshit like you did something. You ain't do shit. Oh, it's a women. No, it wasn't. These are white men who couldn't wait for you guys to get rights to vote so they can shoot up the club and not be responsible for the baby. But y'all was so dumb, y'all ran right with it.
Mm-hmm. They sure did.
And now that history's out, y'all won't even admit to it because y'all perfectly fine with killing babies now. Y'all fine with it.
Because we don't want to give back anything that we get. You know,
but what
it's
did you
always
get?
the same narrative.
You got the ability
because
to kill
that's what they were convinced of, were they not? They were convinced if you go out and you campaign for women's suffrage and the right to vote. First of all, the fact that they call it suffrage, it's just spelled different, but it's still pronounced suffrage, should have ticked somebody off. Like somebody just said, why is it not called like women's joy? Like, or women's choices? Why suffrage?
Women's
like,
suffrage,
what?
Right.
Like, what the hell? Because that's what you're bringing in. Yes, it's a different definition and spelling, but if it sounds like a duck and it looks like a duck, it's a duck. So they're telling you this is what it is. You're not going to be happy, but make sure you do it anyway because we need your husbands to tell you how to vote because we need your vote. That's really why they did it. Right. They figured the husbands could control them. They didn't think, oh, there's a lot of them out there.
Yeah.
And they talk to each other all day long over laundry, over recipes, whatever. And they're vindictive and secretive, and they're good at organizing things because they run a million things in the house.
Yeah.
He's just worried about getting the job, getting the paper, and that's it. Like, she's got, her fingers in a million different pies. So when women get together, they can accomplish horrendous, but like amazing things. It doesn't mean they're good. It just means they're huge, and they can accomplish a lot. But for good or for bad.
Okay, so when the funded is always easier. It's easier for the funded to manipulate the funder because you won't have to do shit. All you gotta do is sit there and wait for the check. You have 8 hours to focus to collaborate. I'm focused doing something else. So if men had the same thing, I'm pretty sure if we decided to, we can do it. I mean, last time I checked, we fight wars, so we can collaborate. You know what I'm saying? So it's not that
you fight wars. So guess who's the ones that are out there dying? Right? It's the men.
Yeah.
At least a lot more women behind. So whose vote's going to be more important at the end of a war? The women's, because there's going to be more of them. They gave women the right to vote thinking they were just going to say, okay, you're giving me this power. I'm going to hand it over to my husband and then I'll hand it back to you. No, they handed them the power and the women went, mine now. And they just never let go of it. And they got greedy for it. And they started thinking, oh, I can do this. I can do that. They have to go to war. They have to go to jobs. They have to go do this. I could do whatever. And it's still going to land on them. I kind of like this. You can't really blame them for running with that power that they were given.
Oh, I don't blame them. But I am.
They were opportunistic and they took it. But a man would do the same.
But that's the thing. I don't think so. But I don't think so.
You don't think a man would run with power? If he gets power, he's going to hold on to it by any means necessary.
And he will get dealt with. every single.
But you can't just walk up to us and punch us. I mean, you could, but you're not going to look good, because societal structure.
But and that's my
believe if
point.
a
Wait.
woman
You
steps
just
up
made
to a
my point.
man,
Hold on, you just made my
go
point.
ahead.
We
Yeah,
can't
go ahead.
we can't stop you. You can stop us
Nope.
any way you want to. Like
But
in
we
order
can
for
stop us too. That's what I'm
how
telling you.
how do we
That's
stop?
what. What do
That's
you mean
what we're here
how?
for.
Women
How?
fighting women? Oh no! Like that's a battle for the ages. Like a man cannot battle a woman the way another woman can. We know, like, the tricks. We know what the manipulations are. We know where the weak points are. We know how to attack. We know how to defend, because we're
Do we have to
playing
hide
from the
behind our women
same
to fight
game.
this war?
You need us on your team to fight in a way you can't. It's got to be like a tag team kind of thing, because you're not going to be able to do it if it's just one against the other. You're just not. And these false accusers, the law is not going to hold them responsible, because it's always the optic of, oh, but it's a woman. You got to go a little easier. No, you don't. She made the same decision that a man would have made. If the man made that decision, and he gets punished, she should have the same freaking punishment. Same way, if a woman steps up to a man and she says, I'm going to fight you. If she wants to throw hands, if she hits him, it's on. Let's go. There's no such thing as don't hit a woman. No, you don't hit a woman first. But if that woman goes after you, you have every right to defend yourself.
I told my kids, because I was one of those kids who was told, don't ever hit a girl, don't ever hit a girl, until I came home one day after fighting a girl. Well, I shouldn't say fighting a girl, getting beat up by a girl, because I wasn't
Get your
allowed
ass
to hit her.
handed to you because you
And
just
my mother
stood there
changed
and
that
took it.
tune real fast. You know what I mean? Changed that tune real fast. But now Venus has a question.
Okay.
What's needed for women to stop false allegations, for false accusers head to start rolling, because there's no accountability, and avoidance is the only option to avoid the darker ones. And this is where a lot of men are feeling like,
you got to cut off the oxygen supply.
Okay, and
that's what you do with narcissists. You don't feed them. You ignore them. You make sure that they're ignored publicly.
Okay, so
you don't have to put them down to be the winner in the argument. What you could do is just prove that you're better. You live the right way. Like we joke all the time, living well, this is the way, because this is the way. You have to be better. You have to not be beyond reproach, because you have to be able to say, look, I've made mistakes. I've been a bitch. I've been this. I've been that. But for the most part, I'm a good person. What you choose to see, you're saying just because that's what you want to see. You're not looking at everything. You're not being fair. A woman can stand up and say, no, you can't point out one thing that he did in 40 years and compare it to that wipes out every single thing he ever did. None of that matters. No, the consistency and the majority, that's his character. That one incident is probably either false, it's a problem with communication, it's a problem with perspective, or, maybe, I don't know, something weird, like he had a mental breakdown or whatever, something that he could get, come back from, like a drug addiction or whatever. I think people make mistakes. Do they make big mistakes? Absolutely. Are they misinterpreted? Yes. Are they punished for the wrong things? Yes. But that's because they look at them and go, okay, you're guilty of all this. I can't get you on this. So I'm going to focus on this one thing that I can catch you up for. And I can make your life hell. You might not have to pay as far as the law goes, but I will ruin you. Because that's what they do. One of the laws of power, protect your reputation at all costs. That's what you do. We have stopped doing that. We have allowed for these rabid, horrible women to band together and become like this banshee group, just screaming from the, like the rooftop. And we're giving them the attention. Stop giving them the attention. You have to cut off the oxygen. You have to have an argument, a counter to every single thing that they say. But it has to be non-attacking. They're the attackers. Let them look aggressive. Let them look stupid. Let them look vicious. You are better than that. And the thing is, men have just isolated themselves. Like poor Johnny Depp, he said, I can't fight this like this, all I got on my side are like my family, my friends. She's going to go with whatever narrative. She doesn't have any boundaries. However, I'm not going to step out of my character. I'm going to keep being me. That's the only reason he won, was because he kept being himself. And she kept getting more and more and more vicious because she was more and more desperate. Because it was like, oh my God, people aren't believing me. Why? Because he's all calm and collected and doesn't fit the narrative that I put forward, that he's this raging freaking like, I'm in here, I'm raging. I'm on the phone saying, oh, yeah, they're going to believe you, Johnny, and making fun of you and crying hysterically and just, no, leave me. All these things. They're going to hear her being crazy. And they're going to hear him going, nope. No, what's the worst thing he said? Aquaman. Like, what was that? Because he mocked the fact that she got the job. He got her the job. She would never admit it. So it's like, what do? You have to be above board. You can't be different than who you are. Don't stoop to their level. That's how you deal with those people. You cut the supply off. And eventually they're either going to pick a new target, or somebody's going to say, you know what? They're the ones being all wild and crazy and whatever. People will see, and it will shift. It doesn't always right away. But that's why you build your base. You build the people that believe in you. We all have to have people that believe in us to stand next to us and say, no, you can't say that about this person. That's not true. It's different coming from them than from you. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what it's saying, but
the only way to fight that is to be above board and to have people who have your back, who know who you are, who will attest
a lot of men
to
that
who you
don't
are.
have that. There's a lot of men that don't have that luxury. They're known as the garbage guy. They're known as the janitor or the doorman. They're not known by their first name.
What do you mean
they're
by
known
that?
by their profession. They don't have, so many men live alone. Like they don't have if somebody says something about that man, he's screwed.
Okay.
There's plenty of men that's like that.
So if you're saying that men are isolated or because they live a lonely existence, or like they have a like a lower job where they're not going to get like tons of what you're saying, like tons of support from outsiders or whatever, then why don't we start there, work on that, give them a place where they can get together. I've seen a lot of celebrities who got screwed over in this kind of way be like, you know what, we need a place where guys can come and talk and they can have resources at their fingertips. It's almost like going to the VA. You're just going to the, you're going to the abuse place for men, because that's what it is. It's abuse. It's not just false accusations. They are avidly, constantly abusing you, and they're rallying other people to abuse you. That's what that is. It's about humiliating you and turning you into nothing, taking away all your power. And that's what these women do, because they want a little attention. They're mad. I got to get even with them. There's like no morals there. For their lack of morality, you have to up your own morality.
Oh, and I just wanted to respond to this question from Morph Trust. How has Biden has gotten power and just ran with it? When is he going to stop? 2024, done. It's over in 2024. His power is checked at 2024. like it's ending right then and there. So I don't know why you put
and
that
if
out.
Not, God will be checking that power real quick.
Yeah, it's
the man's not well.
The man has no power, dude.
Trips
Like
a lot.
whoever is really behind Biden is not Biden.
No.
Right? It's not Biden. Okay. So I don't know why. I thank you for the question, but I don't understand what was that a gotcha? I don't understand. Like, I don't get it.
I think he was just being funny.
I think
who's
so.
gonna
I
stop
hope so,
him?
because I'm like 2024.
Again,
if not
steamroller.
2028. It's like his power is over in a few years. It doesn't keep
God
going.
willing.
And right now I think he's under danger of being is he under danger of being impeached? Am I wrong about that?
I honestly, I'm not the one to talk to about that, because they confuse me so much with the double talk.
Yeah,
it's like he had an accuser. He apparently, allegedly assaulted somebody. Where is she? Isn't she in Russia now? She left the country for fear of her life or something.
Well,
what was her name? Tara Reid?
I don't know. I have no idea. I don't know. Those type of things I kind of checked out because you don't know what's, like you said, I don't know what's true or not. I don't.
Nope.
I don't know what's true.
But when you have somebody with his background and all the suspicious things, you're like, I tend to be like, yeah, put it in that pile. We'll take a look at it. Like, no believer, but investigate it. That's the problem. There's no investigate. Where are the investigations? Tell me. Where are they? Where are all the, police reports and everything else? Why are they allowed to come forward 20 years down the road and say, I was devastated? You were devastated 20 years ago. Bitch, what you been doing since then? You been in a coma? Like, have you not been, did you not walk past some cop at some point and say, hey, I got a problem?
Why we have to take away that, that statute where they can.
No, they need to put back the statute of limitations on those things. They took them away for so many.
When they did that to freaking Bill Cosby, I was like, this is absolutely egregious, man. Like, whether he did it or not, it was the freaking 60s. My God. Like, are you kidding me?
But that's, you know what I mean? Like, nobody looks at context.
No,
they don't at all. Everything is now. It's by now's landscape. No, it was different. Everything was different.
Morph Trust has another statement. I have a few more statements. Cool. Real quick. He said, you hope, but I suspect he is going to get away with everything, just like Hillary has gotten away with it. Too. There's nothing we can do about that. But there's checks and balances to stop them. That was my point. There's checks and balances to stop men from going crazy with power. There's checks and balances, and we need checks and balances. Well, I mean,
on paper, sure.
Yeah,
in theory,
well, for that matter, it's on paper too for women as well, right? But but there's people actually seeking justice with that, right? There are people going after, they're trying to get the information out there. So that's what I mean by that. How many people are trying to get Amber Heard fired right now? How many people are trying to get freaking Brick Lady? Well, no, that's not true. There's a lot of women going after Brick Lady. There are a lot of people going after Brick Lady. So
as well, they should
to build.
And there were a ton of women that went after Amber Heard.
Yeah,
I was one of them. I got horrible bot sentinel ratings because I was disruptive, because I was always Amber Heard. Everything was Amber Heard, because I just hated the woman. From the moment she stepped into that courtroom, I was like, oh, she made me so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And I felt protective of him because I could see his body language. He was folding in on himself. An abuser doesn't do that. They can't fake that. She couldn't.
Right.
She couldn't at all.
Right.
And then this kind of thing goes right into the other thing that we're going to talk about one week, but I just want to mention it. Men in family court, the way they are raked over the coals, and the way custody is being decided, the way child support is being decided, it's not right, because men get screwed over. And a lot of the times the men are the more stable of the partners. So why shouldn't they get the kid? Why does the mother automatically get the kid? I mean, and I'm a mother. I would never have given my children to their fathers, but I would, if I had to go to court, I'd have won on merit. I wouldn't have won because I'm a girl.
You would have.
I would have fought based on the fact that those are my kids, like mine. You haven't been involved. No, you don't get a say. You don't get to just be the, hey, see you every 3 years, dad. No, for that, I'd rather you just, fuck off. But I never, with my kids' fathers, I never told them they couldn't see their kids. I covered their asses all the time. But there are a lot of women who won't. They will throw them under the bus. They will throw the men under the bus, make them look evil, turn the kids against them, take all child support for them, spend it on themselves, do whatever. They're going around with like hair that costs $1,000 and their nails are done every week. Meanwhile, the kid's wearing like Walmart clothes. Really? Is he doing any extracurriculars? Because I'm paying for stuff, but like, I get very upset when it comes to like the custody agreements, because I really do think they don't look at who the better parent would be. They don't think about the kids
because they don't care, and And why should they care? You're just a number. I remember talking to Erica P, right? Shout out to Matters of Opinion. I was talking to Erica P, and she said she was a debt collector for many years. And it get to a point where you just don't have any feeling for these people anymore. You done heard every sob story you can possibly hear of, and you just don't care. This is what it is. It's the letter of it, blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, my God, like, look at how you become an NPC. You become an NPC, and it's like once you're an NPC player, you are useless. Like that's why I have such a hard time with what Strategic Eyes said. You know, he follows the law, and this is the law, and that's that. It doesn't matter how I feel about it. It's my job, and I'm like, okay, well, don't get mad as a citizen when I do my job to protect my family, because if you can't see past your department, I can't see past my door. Done deal. You know, you come guns a-blazing.
Oh no, I feel for you. Yeah, I do.
I don't give a shit who you are. You coming in my house, all I see is, guns a-blazing. First of all, you want to catch me off guard because I'm not a criminal. I'm not doing anything. So right then and there, I'm going to freeze. But I hate you for the rest of my life.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, I don't want no parts to do with you. I don't care. Yeah, it's your job. So fucking what? And that's the thing. Is like, your job is not going after the people who's causing the problem in the first place. Well, there's guns in the community. How the hell are they getting there? You're fighting the wrong problem. All right. How did they get there? Stop the people from getting the guns in there. We won't have the issue in the first place. Stop the drugs from coming in. You won't have that issue in the first place. But no, you work for the
you're talking logic. These people don't talk logic. They talk reactions and feelings.
T-Rex in the house.
Hey, T-Rex. But that's what you're dealing with. You're dealing with a lot of people who base all their arguments on their fifis. That's what they're doing. They don't come to you with facts. When you talk to somebody using reason and you say, okay, you want to take away Second Amendment rights. You want to make it harder for us to legally own a gun. Why? Well, because of all the shootings and this and that. Blah, blah, blah. You're worried about what? Gang violence? Yes. Guess what? They're not registering their guns.
Right. So even if we stopped it,
you're not taking it from them. You're taking it from me. You're taking away my ability to protect my family in my own home.
And the last time
they don't want to hear that. That makes sense. Oh my God, you can't bring that here. I need to, appeal to the emotions. And here's more pictures of like school shootings and stuff like that.
No. Wait a minute. T3. You did appeal to my emotions by showing me those pictures. That's exactly why I want to carry. I never thought about carrying until I saw this crap.
But they don't think of that kind of reaction is negligible. So they think. The ones that put forward those things, they think, oh, well, there's only a couple that are going to be, oh, I'm going to arm up. The other ones who are louder and dumber are going to say, well, let's take guns from everybody. Oh, good. Who keeps the guns? The criminals and the government, which, kind of hard to tell the difference. They're not that far away
from one another. In order for you
kind of hard to tell the difference.
In order for you to police a criminal, you got to think like one.
Yep.
Yeah, like that's why I don't trust cops. I'm like, you think like a criminal. I know you do because you're good at your job.
They're walking around suspicious with all these scenarios going through their head, and somebody fits the scenario. That doesn't necessarily mean that's what they're doing. That just means it looks like what you're thinking.
Right.
And now you're going to go and pursue them based on your suspicion? No.
Oh, I suspected that the man who was kissing his wife was actually raping her. So I proceeded.
No.
Like it's but I mean I know these
just like the couple was in the street, like arguing. They're having an argument. Well, I said that. Oh, well, I automatically assumed that he obviously beats her.
Right.
Really? Like that's the conclusion you went to? What if she beats him?
Arguing back? She's not.
Oh yeah, she ain't afraid. No, she ain't afraid.
She's not afraid of this man. They're having a freaking legit argument. Leave that couple alone.
Listen, she might be battered, but she's not alone probably in the battering.
Right.
She has gotten to the point where it's a free-for-all.
Yeah, we going after each other.
That's very dangerous. Because that's going to end one way usually. That's the only way that kind of ends.
Ooh,
and that's dangerous.
Oh, see, now this is where, and I'm gonna go ahead and I'm not gonna bring your comment up, but I'm gonna read it. because you typed a lot of stuff. Hopefully Matt gets will not get ended because what he is doing is 10 times what JFK was up to when they put those bullets into him. By the way, not saying that women are getting levers they can use to get away with power and run with it for sure. That men do not have thus. Oh shoot, I have to put it up now because it's
I was
broke.
gonna say I have no idea what you're saying.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause I'm trying. I'm
Is
a
it
terrible
from
reader.
Jacob?
No, it's from Morph Trust.
Oh, okay.
I'm a terrible reader, and it's broken up as well. So let me
Oh, okay.
grab it and put it in there. What did he say? Okay, I'm gonna start off with this one. And then we're gonna wrap this up pretty soon.
Matt Gates, pronounced Gates, Gary.
What's pronounced Gates?
That came from Jacob, not from me. Don't shoot the messenger. He said it's Matt Gates, not
Getz.
Matt.
It says
not Matt
Getz.
Getz.
It's
pronounced
Getz.
Gates. It's pronounced
Getz.
Gates. That's
There's
what
no
he's
E in
saying.
there. There's no fucking E in there. Stop. See, this is the reason why I can't stand this.
Yes, it is.
Where's the E? I see E. I see
Gaetz. Gates. There's
no E in there. Where's the E?
Gae. Do you not see it?
I'm looking at it right here. It says Gattz.
No, it's Gaetz. That's the correct spelling. So
this is the one.
The first one was wrong.
I'm gonna show you the one that he sent me. Damn it, shit. Okay. Had me looking all stupid. I know I'm dumb, but that ain't
doing it. No, I'm just giving you Jacob's thing. That's what he
I don't
said.
care. This is what he said.
It's
Look,
your fault, Jacob.
That's what he put. No, that's not it. This one.
Transgenders against. Don't get me started on the trannies, please.
Yeah, I don't even want to touch them anymore. Like
no, that's going to be a Rumble thing.
I'm so done. I'm so past it. When it comes down to them, I'm done. Like I'm doner with them than I am with I almost said white women. With women.
I'm white. I'm Italian. You can say it all you want.
Right, but I'm so done with them. But it's true, man. It's just like it gets to a point where it's like I'd rather not deal with because they're too entitled in this country. They're entirely too entitled, and I just don't want. I don't have the incentive to even deal with them. I'm creating a life where I don't need to interact with them at all. That's what I want. I want a life where I don't have to interact with people like that. And I know a lot of men out there understand exactly where I'm coming from. I don't want to be bothered. I don't want to be, I don't want to have to look over my shoulder every 5 minutes because of some broad that might come for me 15 years ago. Like, I don't want no parts of it.
You're going to anyway, though. That's the rub. Whether you do anything out of your face or not, just because it exists in that world, that possibility is out there. They could do that to you and never having interacted with you. They just have to make it look like they did. Believe all women. Believe all women.
Right.
And if they say it happened 20 years ago, you could be like, well, damn, 20 years ago, I don't remember what I did yesterday. You want me to remember 20 years? Like, I don't remember her. Yeah. If I did do her, maybe what was I in high school? She was just another, bonus hole in the dark. Like, I didn't get a name. It was a drive-by. Like, what are you talking about?
Yeah,
that was a pump and dump.
And that's another thing that they don't want to accept. It do be drive-bys.
Yep. And what do you do with the drive-by? You give them a cookie, say it was nice seeing you, and you close the door. Like, that's it. Just, it happened, move on. Move on. Unless you're, like, really violated. I mean, and I'm coming at this from a place where I've been beaten. I've been violated. And I still, afterwards, when they had something to say to me, I listened. Because I was like, all right, years have gone by. You're grown. You think you got something that's going to make that okay? I'll hear it. Let's go.
Right.
I'm not, because I want to know what your justification was for doing that. I didn't take your ass and have you, like hung out to dry. So let's see what you have to say. And sometimes they do want to change. They do take the steps to understand what they did, understand it was wrong, feel actual remorse. that doesn't mean that feeling's going to stick around.
No, it doesn't.
No, because 10 years down the line, 20 years down the line, they could be knocking on your door like, hey, bitch. Trust me, they'll do it. Because crazy is always planted there. Like, if they're initially crazy enough to do that first thing, they got away with it. You know, me bringing it up 20 years down the line serves no purpose. Like, can I use it to make myself better? Can I heal myself with it? Absolutely. Can I help other people by saying, this is what happened? Look at this. You know, I went through it. I lived through it. You can, get through it. If you can't get justice, if you can't pursue it or prove it, then what are you going to do? You're going to go through all this and lose at the end? Like, you have to weigh your options. Is it better for me to report it? Is it better for me to, take care of it on my own? Is it better for me to, go and get myself help and move on? Because I can't help them and I can't punish them. So I need to forget them. I need to focus on what it did to me, because they're no longer part. I'm not letting them have any more power in my life. These are all options. They don't take any of those options. They go, oh, somebody believed me 20 years down the line. Now I can get even for that thing he did. But now your memory 20 years down the line, it's not the same as it was when it happened. You got all these experiences with men that probably made you more resentful. Now you're more biased than you were when it happened. Yeah. You're more bitter than when it happened. So could you be trusted to fairly seek some type of retribution? No. I think it's blown out of proportion by that point, and you're just out for blood.
Yeah.
And I could be wrong in a lot of places. I'm not saying for everybody. I don't want to do the generalization. I'm saying, like, for me, there was no point, because I'd already gotten slapped in the face when I tried to, get help for myself and have him, pay for what he did. That didn't work out. So what other option did I have? I had to take care of me. They're not doing that. 20 years down the road, if somebody comes on and say, you want to press charges for what? You know how long ago that was? I was a completely different person then. So were they.
Right.
Now, if they're doing it now and you want to use that as like, okay, he has a, way of doing this over time, then we might discuss it, but only if he's willing to admit, if it's somewhere on record that he did that.
Right.
If I'm just coming out of left field and this was a person who was, great in the community and everything else, and everybody loved them, and I'm saying something different to the character they had at the time, I think that's a problem. That's a red flag. Like, for mine, he actually went and got help and admitted, fine, to psychiatrists and whatever, what he did. But he admitted it. It was on record somewhere other than with me. He did that. So, yeah, that could be used against him. But to be fair, he did it.
Used against him? I mean, if he's admitting
but to be fair,
that's him saying,
okay, but did that undo everything for me? No, but I chose to say, all right, like, I don't want to have nothing to do with you, but I forgive you. I forgave you back then because I had to.
Right.
Because I had to let it go.
Right.
A lot of women don't do that. Besides, like, I know people love to say, I love to fight. She loves to fight. I don't. I don't like conflict. I just want peace in I want to go on with my damn day and just everybody leave me the hell alone. And, if you need me, I'm there. If you want to mess with me, go find somebody else, please. Go play with yourself. I don't really care. I don't want to play that game. I just don't. And I cut off the access. I cut off any kind of access they have to me. And I don't engage with people that engage with them. Because I don't need the he said, she said, and back and forth. That still all exists. It's very, very hard to fight the machine. And women have become the operators of the machine. So what do you have to do? You have to get some of them on your side speaking truth for you. Or with you, I should say. Otherwise, you're not going to. That's just my take.
Well, listen, I just want to say thank you for coming up here, Shirley. I appreciate you for being up here. We're definitely going to be doing this again Thursday. I'm going to try to see if I can come up and do this every day at 11 Central Standard Time. at 12 noon. I'm gonna do my very best to try to get this going on, because you're absolutely right. You know, there are things that we can do as men, even though I may not be able to talk to women about their fuckery. I can find a woman who can talk to them about their fuckery, and I can definitely do that. So for those men out there who are like, hell no, we won't go, I understand it and I respect that. And if you don't want to be a part of the front line, supporters on the back end, you know what I mean? Like supporters on the back end. Like, listen, I feel the same way you do. I don't want to be bothered with these crazy ass women. I don't want to be bothered. Let me tell you something. The last thing I want to do is deal with crazy ass women. All right. I don't want to deal with them on YouTube, Discord. No, I don't want to deal with them, because they're irritating and they're frustrating, because they seem like they pretend like they're on your side in the beginning. You know what I mean? This is why when you're, oh my God, and they wearing the Trump hats and they got the shirts on, and it's like, I mean, poster child of it. And it's like, come on, like, I really believe you. You know what I'm saying?
That was you before. You said, how come women are cringing on like all men's things? And we didn't get to, like, I had a reason for that. Women are just as fed up with women as you all are.
I understand.
The good women are like, no. So where do we go? We go and hang out with the guys, because,
but we don't want to hang out with
that's
you.
Not. I know that. That's some of you do. Let's not generalize that one. But
I'm generalizing it. I'm generalizing it. You can't stop me. I have agency. I have agency. I can't. And my mic is bigger than yours. But this is Gary Lamb signing off. This is Shelly signing off. You guys have a good one.
Bye, guys.